Assalamu alaikum. We continue with the discussion about the book by Rashid Ilal, Sahih Bukhari, The End of the Myth. Was there an Ajmaa? Was there a consensus about the authenticity and the completion and the approval of the scholars at the time of Imam Bukhari and later on in our time? Was there an Ajmaa? Let's see. So what is this Ijma' thing? Is people that collectively, all of them, scholars at the time of Imam Bukhari approved of his book or his hadith documentation. Was there an Ijma'? So honestly, really, no. It was no ijma'. There was no consensus on whether Imam Bukhari is writing was approved or not challenged. There are many, many challenges, and there was no consensus on him personally or his knowledge or his hadith writing. Yeah, it's true. There are many voices that welcomes many writing of many books of many scholars. There are those people that see positive in them, and there are many who do not. And usually the people who were on the side of the Imam Bukhari, they praised him to the point that is basically made him into a figure that is almost on a divine mission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cannot do wrong, cannot write anything wrong, was just a special gifted person, not as a human. They made him into unhuman level, not fallible at all, divine in his mission, approved by the Prophet in a dream. So they made him into that legend. And there are other people who are more realistic. They saw something good, they saw something bad, they criticized him, they challenged him on his writing. Unlike some people, even in modern time, they think if you disagree with Imam Bukhari, you're going to hell, you're going to be burned in eternity in hellfire, and severe punishment awaits you. So it's just basically nonsense. So no, there was no consensus on the person or the writing of Imam Bukhari. And we know that because there was a lot of discussion from the time of Imam Bukhari, from people that lived at his time. People wrote about hadith at that time, and even before, people that had knowledge and taught Imam Bukhari himself. Even currently today, there are a large segment of Muslims. Take the people that believe in the madhab of Ja'fari, which is commonly known as the madhab of Shia. They don't totally, they disregard Imam Bukhari. They don't take anything that he said, and they have no respect for any of his writing, any of his books, and they consider it is a book. It's basically, it has lots of lies. And that's not only true for Shia, it's true for all the mazahib. Every mazhab have a book or have their leader or their imam, and they elevate him to the point of divinity and special status, and people that oppose their imam or their version of the truth is blasphemous, and that was obvious, like between Hanafi and Maliki and Shafi'i. It was wars. Fatwas were issued condemning the others throughout Islamic history. So yeah, they disagreed about books. They had no consensus about anything. And there was one quote, for Imam Malik that considered there's no ijma' about anything in Islam. Basically, that was Imam Malik said. That there are some people they considered al-Muwatta, which is before Imam Bukhari, book by Imam Malik, is the most truthful book to have ever been written. Just like there are some people say that the most truthful book that is written ever is the Quran, and then the Sahih Bukhari after the Quran. They elevate it to that level. And of course, they interpret that Sahih Bukhari overrules the Quran in many instances. So there is no concept of ijma' about anything in Islam. Yeah, and even the word ijma' it needs a lectures about what it means and how it came about and what consists of an ijma'. But we're not going to talk about it right now. But there was no ijma', no consensus about Imam Bukhari, and even students that Imam Muslim was a student of Imam Bukhari, and Imam Muslim contradicted Imam Bukhari, did not take with Imam Bukhari books, and he attributed to have said there was some Ṣaḥīḥ hadith in the book of Imam Bukhari, they're not Ṣaḥīḥ, and vice versa. Imam Bukhari also contradicted Imam Muslim, and they criticized each other. Not only these two criticized each other, everybody criticized each other. They not only criticized each other, they accused each other of being blasphemous, being like zindiq or kafir or blasphemy or committed a major sins. Even in our modern time, this issue is, if you follow Islam, you see it. I mean, you see it between madhab, you see it between scholars, you see it between schools. It's just the battle of who's a Muslim and who's a kafir within the house of Islam is very, very still with us till today. Everybody accused everybody even till today. And even back then, one of the most critic of Imam Bukhari was his teacher, Imam al-Zuhli, which was very, very well respected and was very known, and he was known to be, Imam Bukhari was tremendously influenced by him, Imam Muslim influenced by him, and many, many, many other scholars were influenced by him. And Imam Bukhari, used to go attend his majlis, his lectures or gathering, or in Naisabur, and he got extremely upset with Imam Bukhari because of what Imam Bukhari was saying and some of the things that he was saying, and even Imam Bukhari was violently almost attacked or challenged in Naisabur, a challenge in Baghdad, a challenge in many cities. There are people trying to ban him from their gathering, from being part of. He was on a personal benefit mission to just kind of gives an impression that he was trying to show off or trying to be the master of everyone. So it was a lot of talk. It was a lot of discussion about incredible. Imam al-Zuhli was a big, big influential figure at that time. And they challenged Imam Bukhari on some of the things that he said. And there are stories that even accuse of Imam Bukhari of being a kafir, which is, it could happen. They could be wrong, but it wasn't a smooth sailing. It wasn't like if you read the books of hadith that supports the Imam Bukhari, that they make him look like he can do no wrong. And it was a consensus from everybody that the book Al-Jami' al-Sahih by Imam Bukhari was the most trusted book by all the scholars. Even till today, they give you the impression that is true. No, don't believe that. That was not the case. That was not the case at all. And that book is really the Sahih Bukhari was challenged, and there were some, I take a personal challenge in and interest in this book, because in this book the image of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gets tarnished. And if you read the hadith that accuses the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is a hadith in Sahih Bukhari clearly accuses the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam trying to commit suicide more than in one time. And it took Jibreel alayhi salam to interfere to stop the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are things they're saying about the Prophet Muhammad using a foul language, profanity, quoted in the book of Sahih Bukhari. There are hadith accusing the Prophet Muhammad encouraging slaughter of innocent people, killing non-believers. There are hadith in Sahih Bukhari accusing the Prophet Muhammad was under a magic spell, praying without wudu, being alone with women. In some instances, there is a woman that is looking for lice in his hair, and he, not his wife at all, sleeping in her lap, and she's searching for lice in his head. Shaitan and devils and stuff like that, teaching the religion that they heard from Sayyidina Muhammad, strapping the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are all crazy stuff that tarnishes the beautiful, respected person that the Quran described that he was at the highest level of manners of any human. That's why there was never a consensus about the Imam Bukhari as a person and Imam Bukhari's hadith that he quoted. And he was challenged based on his iman and aqidah, because he at one time believed in that the Quran was created. And he had a big major issue with people that believed, among them Imam Malik, about the creation of the Quran concept, or it is the eternal words of Allah. Imam Bukhari was accused of preaching that the Quran was creation. So it doesn't matter what do you stand on this issue, but at the time he was accused of being a kafir for taking that position. So there was no consensus about Imam Bukhari, and thank you for listening. And we will continue this book later on. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum.